Yeah, no, that's a great thing. And yeah, when you find a good person who's doing great things, help you out, it's definitely no problem referring.
We were lost.
So
Yeah, we wouldn't even know what to,
we were so lost at that point. We didn't know what was going on.
Okay, so he was basically he started out as your architect and ended up being your quasi attorney.
Yeah, everything.
Definitely.
Yeah. Even writing certain paperwork for us. Yeah, that was exactly what he was. He was our counsel, and he was amazing.
All right. Good evening, good people. Welcome to another 203K Tuesday. I'm your host, Aaron, the house person, and this is the place you come to find out everything you don't know about the 203K loan and process and learn how to use that process to help create, build, and sustain generational wealth. So y'all already know, I always talk about team, right? But not just about the team, because it's also about the people who go through the 203K process from start to finish and getting their stories. So tonight, got a special guest on here. I mean, all my guests are special, but these folks, they're extra special, right? Because they're right down here with me. Wish I would have met them earlier, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But I got the Smith family with us tonight. All right, Chris and Whitney Smith, they got a story to tell. So without further ado, let me bring them in here so they can tell their story. You guys are on mute. There we go. All right, the Smith family, Chris Whitney, how y'all doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So look, extremely excited to have you on. Thankful that you guys are giving myself and viewers the time to hear your story. It, is an interesting one to say the least. So look, normally what I do, I get right into the questions. We get through the 10 questions, and then from there, we'll talk more about you guys, any business or anything that you guys have going on, and just anything else real estate related. So that's cool?
Yes.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's hop right into question number 1. How did you hear about the 203K loan?
I originally heard about it when we were in the beginning stages of the home buying process. And I believe I went through a SunTrust pre-approval class that brought up the 203K, as well as like HPAP, NACA, a few of the other programs for first-time home buyers.
Okay, cool. And what was it about the loan that kind of like excited you the most?
It did. I'll take that. So it didn't really excite me until the second go around, the second home buy. Whereas, I kind of got a lay of the land. I was interested into, getting into like real estate flipping and things like that, and also just doing, learning what it took to become to be a seasoned homeowner. The type of repairs and maintenance that you have to keep up with a home. So, the second go around, it was like, let me look into that to kind of establish what I see in a house and without vision. Okay.
So when you say second go around, was that like another class or second house?
Second house.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Okay, so the SunTrust class originally, that was like back in the day when you got the first house?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so the second time. Okay, so the second house, that's when you said, let me explore another option. Okay, all right. So you guys did the limited or the standard 203K?
We did the standard.
Standard. And so again, for those who don't know, standard is when your renovations the budget is higher than $35,000 or you're doing anything structural. So did you find your realtor or your loan officer first?
We found our realtor first. One of my friends knew that we were in the kind of like, we want to move, we want to get a new house, and she knew we wanted to do the 203K process. And so she recommended DC Urban Land, which I believe is right off of Florida Avenue. So we met with a realtor, and he specialized in 203K loans. So that's where we started off at first.
Okay. So, all right, that actually kind of answers number 5 as well. Well, part of it, because the question is, how did you find your realtor? But we got that one. How did you find your loan officer?
I believe through the realtor. Realtor.
Okay. All right. And what would you say? Because I know, not necessarily knowing the full process yourself, what would you say was on a scale like 1 to 10, the knowledge level of your realtor and the loan officer?
Loan officer, I would say, I would have to answer this in hindsight. I would say it's probably about an 8, because when he followed up with us, it was some things that even caught him by surprise, and he showed concern and helped us out with. So I would say about an 8. As far as the realtor, I would say probably a 5, because I'm thinking he might just be coming from the perspective of, he might have a list of houses that are not like, in not pristine condition for like your average, the homes that normal people are just looking to buy and just move into. He kind of had a knowledge base of some shells, some fixer-uppers, and things like that. So I'll just say a 5, in my opinion.
Okay.
I would probably say like a 5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay. Is that for both, or?
I think the law officer definitely was. What you say? 8.
You said 8.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. All right. So your contractor. How did? Because I mean, of course, we spoke, so I know a little background. We'll dive into that a little bit. But how did you find your contractor?
The first one we found using the realtor. So we didn't have any connections as far as like consultants or contractors. So our realtor really was like the one-stop shop person that gave us everyone. So we started with our first contractor. It was the realtor. Our second contractor actually came from our loaning institution. And I know we'll talk about kind of our story in a minute, but because we were having some problems, the loaning institution gave us some really good consultants for us to work with. Contractors for us to work with. And so that's how we got our second one. So the first one was through the realtor. The second one was through our loan institution.
So now, that since that Pandora's box is kind of open now, because I know people are like, wait a minute, your first one and your second one. So while we're here, all right, so you said that you didn't know. So did you get your contractor first or consultant first?
Consultant.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay, so you got your consultant first. And what would you say? So from what we know, or from what I know, what was the situation with the consultant, the initial, or yeah, what happened? Let's do that. Let's just do that. What happened with your consultant?
So in a nutshell, I don't want to give too much commentary, but in a nutshell, it's of my opinion or my understanding of the loan terms with the institution and the HUD-C, is that the HUD-C should have a fiduciary responsibility to the property. So his guidance should be more so in protection of us as the homeowners, and as well as he has a responsibility to do his due diligence for the bank, as well as he represents the federal government with being being part of the Housing Urban Development program. So with us, I mean, he was knowledgeable of just general contracting, but later on down the line, we'll get into why we feel as our other HUD-C was better, just from sheer experience, having that fiduciary responsibility, having that interest, or looking out for the best interest of the home builder, and not just the contractor. So yeah, it was an experience. I give you that much. It was a roller coaster with the
So I mean, we're I mean, there's only a few more questions, but since we like right here, all right. So you had a consultant initially, and you didn't feel you were being represented like you should have.
Right. We felt like he was more advocating for the contractor and not necessarily advocating for us as the clients.
Okay. And so you decided it was time to part ways.
Correct. Yes.
All right. And at that point, were introduced to a newer consultant.
Yeah.
Right. And you found them from who?
That we found them from our loan institution. So again, as you'll all find out, we had some issues. And so we had to do a lot of talking with the bank. And so in that conversation, pretty much explained, we're not satisfied with our consultant. We just need some guidance on what should we do. And thankfully, one of the ladies at the bank, who she didn't really have to do this, but she could just tell that we were kind of frustrated, gave me like 3 names of people in our area, and happened to just call one. And thankfully, he really came in and actually saved the project. So I'm so grateful for that lady, because I really don't know where we would have been had we not made that connection.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. And there was also a situation. So along with the first consultant, where you kind of let them, not kind of, but you let them go. What happened with the contractor?
We let him go too.
Was there anything that like stood out, or a particular reason that you said, okay, look, this is not working?
Experience, did not really know. I believe this was his first 203K project. And with that, to me, you want to get somebody experience, and he was not that. So we thought he was, it was portrayed that he was. And when it came down to it, this was like the first project of this magnitude that he was doing. And he really was, just didn't have an idea what he was doing. Spending a lot of money, just constantly going over the budget. And so it just became sour. So, after a while, you don't want that energy around, you don't want that energy building your house. And it was just time for us to kind of part ways, which is what we did.
Okay, so that contractor, what would you say on a scale of 1 to 10 their knowledge was as far as the process?
A 1 for me. Sorry,
Dagger.
but it's the truth.
Dagger.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe I'm not going to be in my feelings. Maybe a 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it a 3, but that's me being a nice.
I was going to give him a 4. But.
Okay. All right. So 3, 4 ballpark. Okay. All right. Whew. Okay. So I got a couple more questions. Actually, I'm going to do 9. And then we're going to dive a little more into the story, and then I'll ask the 10th question. So question number 9 is, actually, no, because let's go right into the story, because question number 9, I think kind of will wrap up. Yeah, let's go into the story. So, all right. you guys started the process when?
2018?
2018.
Yeah.
All right, 2018. So you guys actually closed on your property in 2018.
Mhm.
All right. And then from there, we had a hiccup. What was the hiccup?
Okay, so first hiccup was, and I guess the audience can be edified by this. It's a process in your appraisal when you're submitting your rough draft of what you envision your home to be, based on the scale of the allotted money you want to do, and I think it was the ARV, after repair value, or what it would be.
Yeah, in your scope of work, so everything that you plan, right?
So it's a phase in that initial appraisal process that allows you to get the money from the loaning institution or the mortgage company, that the appraisal is supposed to do a certain due diligence to say if that kind of project can be done in that neighborhood, city, county, municipality. So in our instance, a certain box wasn't checked off, and we kind of, in the process, we learned that means we were stumbling out the gate.
Right.
So what that did was that put us into a situation where, our plans got approved. Well, sorry, our rough draft got approved by the bank and the ARV, and the comps all came in. So they lent the money. So when it's time to go for your permitting and stuff to get your approvals to build, our municipality halted the process and say, hey, you got to come through us first. That came with a whole set of obstacles. They have a design review board, which was trying to operate like a HOA, and they're not really chartered to do that. They can suggest, but they do have power because it is a governing body within your municipality, as well as, typical hurdles that anyone would probably face with getting the building permit at their local county office, delays, backups.
Well, that was the thing too. We had an initial set of drawings where the foundation our foundation had to be moved like 5 feet back due to what he's talking about with the design review board.
I was with the county.
Yeah, with the county. And so that caused problems because they had already set the foundation. So then they had to break up the foundation and move that back 5 feet. But even prior to that, so you asked about the timeline, just to give a kind of a quick timeline. We closed in 2018. And that process from us getting our building permits and having to wait for the municipalities to okay our design, that was an almost 10-month process. So almost a year, we remained stagnant. Nothing was going on. Of course, Chris and I pushed as much as we could. The contractor really couldn't do anything at this point, and the consultant couldn't do anything. So from a 203K standpoint, it was nothing that our advocates on that end really could do. We pushed a lot of it ourselves. And thankfully, we had a really great architect who was excellent. He kind of walked us through that process. So that was just a year of us not doing anything. 2019, thankfully, we get to start the build. But then, as we all know, in 2020, COVID happens. So now we're trying to build in a pandemic. There's a short on supplies, manpower, people getting sick, all those type of things. And you're still trying to be empathetic with people because, we're all in this pandemic together, but also trying to get your house built. And so that's when we started to have some of the friction with the first contractor was during that time. So I think, and then in like 2020, like the second half of 2020 is when we met the second contractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hold on, let me back up. So initially, close. So would you say what part of 18 did y'all close? Like middle of the year?
September.
Okay, so third quarter, top of third quarter in
Yeah.
2018. And then you got into a situation with so not the county, but the local municipality. So the city, the jurisdiction that you guys you purchased in. And they basically said, well, look, you got to come through us to get all this approved. And basically stretch things out for that approval. So you guys now, it was kind of a back and forth situation, right? Or was it more so just their process of approval?
It was definitely back and forth. There were us having, like you said, meet with the design review board. We had to actually have hearings with the county. We also had to have a hearing with city council. It was actually a lot. I know I had to contact at one point some Maryland Department of Interior. It was just a lot of research we had to do because they were trying to put stipulations and specifications on our house that we really didn't have to do. That was the whole thing. And with us reading and understanding that, it was like, no, you can't tell us that we can't do this, this, and this. We know what we can do. And so I think that's why it was actually a lot of back and forth, because they kind of want to just say, okay, just do it like this, and you want to do it like that. And we were like, no, we had to always provide evidence to kind of support our claim of why we should be able to build our house. And that's why we had a great architect who supported us with that as well, provided drawings. I mean, he basically, if it wasn't for him, again, we could only do so much, but he really walked us through that process. And he didn't even know he was going to have to do that. And he didn't charge us extra for that because he was putting in a lot of man hours, redoing drawings, going with us to the actual meetings. I mean, it was a lot of work he was having to do. So I don't know if we can say names on here. Can I give him a
you can shout him out. I mean, that's a hero right there.
Michael Johnson. I call him Mr. Johnson. I wish I had his stuff.
At the end we'll get his info from my email.
He was excellent. I send him so much business because he was amazing.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing. And when you find a good person who's doing great things, help you out, it's definitely no problem referring.
We were lost.
So,
we wouldn't even know
we were so lost at that point. We didn't know what was going on.
Okay, so he was basically he started out as your architect and ended up being your quasi attorney.
Yeah, everything. Even writing certain paperwork for us. Yeah, that was exactly what he was. He was our counsel. And he was amazing.
All right, shout out to Michael Johnson for getting it done in the trenches, making it happen. All right, so that got y'all through 2019, where the municipality finally said, okay, you went.
Right.
And from there, that's when construction begins. And of course, again, construction right in smack dab in the middle of COVID and all the full stops and things. And that's when you got to the situation with contractor number one.
Right.
Okay. And so contractor number one was released. Was the consultant released prior to the contractor or after?
Consultant was released first.
Yeah.
Okay, so consultant was gone. Did you guys bring in the next one before? Okay, so old consultant gone, new consultant comes in, contractor gone. New contractor comes in. Okay. All right. Whew. Okay. All right. So, and then from there, what happened? So I know with COVID and the supply chain issues, things were harder to find, still actually are, but things are harder to find. And of course, prices unfortunately started to increase. How did that impact you guys' process?
Well, from my aspect, it really didn't, because we were already shelling out money and going over budget anyway. So it was par for the course for me. It was really just trying to get the project done. However, because of the expertise of the new HUD-C, he was basically calling bull on a lot of what the original contractor was doing. He was basically pulling cards like, no, that's, essentially checks and balances, things aren't adding up. Process is not moving fast enough. He really just spoke up and just took charge and kind of showed us what the original HUD should have been doing. confirming things that the bank were saying, and different institutions were essentially backing them up on, and it really exposed the original contractor for,
Okay. So that sounds like hero number 2.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Johnson first, and then after that, so feel free if you know.
Melvin Henson.
Yeah, I always call him Melvin Johnson. Mr. Henson, yeah.
Melvin Henson.
Okay.
Yeah, he was really good.
All
Very
right,
no nonsense, straightforward, out of Baltimore. No nonsense, straightforward. And he was very honest. The same thing with Mr. Johnson is some, like I've noticed is some of the 203K, it's like you just need somebody that's going to kind of just tell you what it is. And especially at a point of where your project is just as big as ours was and trying to get to the end. And so that's really what starting in the beginning Mr. Johnson would do, because we would have these plans of like, oh, we want to do this and we want to do that. And Mr. Johnson would be like, no, this is what y'all can do. And this is how we can facilitate it. And then the same thing with Mr. Henson was just at, knowing we needed to close. And he pretty much told us, this is what y'all need to focus on to close. So that's what I appreciate about them both, was just their honesty and really just getting us through the project the entire time. Well, not the entire time, but while they were, in the project.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, so that's actually very important, because as you go through this process, most people, it's like, okay, well, is the sky really the limit? Can I go past the sky? Like, what can I not get? I can get all of that, but not having somebody to say, oh, like, let's slow down. Let's think about this. Let's focus on that. Things can kind of get out of whack, and just go down a rabbit hole that you don't need to go down. So so shout out to them for kind of reeling you guys back in, like, all right, let's this is where we are, this is where we need to be, so this is what we have to do to get there. So yeah, shout out to them. Okay, all right, so started in 2018, didn't actually get really started, so closed in 2018, didn't get started until 2019. When did you guys actually finish?
Finished June 2021. Like, past inspection, everything was okay, June 2021.
Okay, so what's this, March? So we're coming up on an official full year of you guys being finished and in your home. What did the original house, what was it?
It was considered a 2-bedroom craftsman bungalow.
Yeah,
Okay.
2-bedroom, 1 bath.
Yeah, so 2-bed, 1 bath. Okay. Was it craftsman bungalow? So really, did it have a second level, or like,
it was like a dormer?
just it was a dormer.
Yeah.
Okay. And the you guys project, what did it end up becoming?
4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths with a 2-car garage detached.
All right, so 2-bed, 1 bath to a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. So that included, you guys ended up doing what? Bumping it out, because you did mention bumping out from well, you had to move the foundation back. And I'm assuming you guys did a full second level. Okay, all right. And so the scope of work, like, what was the amount of the project, just the renovation portion?
A little above 300K.
So a little above 300K. Okay. So yeah, that's definitely a massive project. For sure. All right. And oh yeah, you said 2-car garage. So yeah, 2-car. You said detached or attached?
It's attached.
2-car. Okay. Yes. Keep you out of the elements. Just yeah, that's all right. All right. As far as the neighborhood, would you guys say that your finished product kind of stands out compared to the neighbors?
For sure.
Yeah.
We've been beyond complimented on the house. And what's crazy, it makes you go back to think about the reluctancy of the design review board of what we were trying to do, and the amount of compliments that we get
from our neighbors daily.
Pretty much had people walk up to us, but like, I watched your house the whole time. Like,
yeah.
So
and there's a lot of renovations going around here. So I think we're starting out now, but I think in like the next 3 years, we really won't be.
Okay.
The size might be just because we have a double lot, and so it's a little bit bigger. But as far as just like the design of the house, I don't really think so. I think more families are opting to, pop up and just have a little bit more room than some of these traditional cottages that are around here.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically you guys like trendsetters. That's what we're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all right. All right. So given the story, now I want to head over to question number 9. And that question is, what was the worst part about the process and what was the best part about the process? So we're gonna start bad first and then go to good because we want to end on a good note. So what was the worst part?
The worst part for me was probably the first contractor, because the relationship had got so sour at times it would become like a little combative. And I would even tell Chris, like, I feel like he doesn't receive information from me the same way he receives it from him. So I just felt like sometimes being a woman in a room full of guys, at times it was just like really difficult to get what I'm trying to say across, and particularly like with his team. So he was probably really the worst part for me, because it was just constant stress. He didn't know what he was doing. And he was just really just after a while very irritating to me. The best part for me was probably being able to work with Chris to actually create like this project and see it finalized, like our faces and seeing our kids' faces, like when we were actually able to move in, was amazing. So I think that was the best part, the fact that we started on this journey together and we ended it. And even though with all the craziness, we were just able to get through it together.
Okay.
For me, it would be similar to what Whitney was saying, as far as I mean, it wasn't even so much the relationship with the first contractor, because I mean, like she's saying, I think it's just a different dynamic sometimes with men and women. And I was trying to be as business minded as I could be, but more so it was just a feeling of when I felt as though the contractors had a little bit more leverage on the situation than I did. So that felt like a hopeless feeling, because I was fighting with time and money. And without the experience and knowledge, you kind of don't know where you're going, and you're fighting against time and money. So that was like the worst part, because it was the scariest part for me. The best part will just be, for me, would be just all the knowledge we acquired. Like, that's why we're thankful for your platform, because, we were really in our own minds just trying to just get out our ideas, and we seen some things that the 203K process just needs in the ecosystem to kind of, for various reasons, for, whether it be rebuilding our communities as far as, Black, standpoint, home ownership standpoint, gentrification battlings, and just different envisions that you have for your neighborhood, what you think it could be or what you would like to bring to it. So we need through this whole process just gain the whole knowledge base, from project management to on-site construction foremans and all kinds. Probably held so many hats during this process that it was just, that was the best part to me, is just the sheer wealth of knowledge we gained, with no intention. We weren't seeking out into knowledge.
Right.
We were just trying to get a house.
Trying to get a house.
Yeah.
Ended up going to college.
Right. School of hard knocks.
Right. So, all right. You guys started a journey in September of 2018. Closed the construction chapter June of 2021. So like just shy of 3 years. Had to let a couple people go, had to bring on some new people, had a couple of saviors in there, and unfortunately had to spend some extra money. I don't know how much, we don't need to talk about it, but some extra money is, like, who wants to do that, right? Especially not for needs, like, especially not for a want before a need, like I got to do it, versus like, oh, you know what, I want to go ahead and upgrade to that. Let me go ahead and do that, right? So with all that being said, would you recommend the 203K loan for others?
Yes.
I would.
Highly.
Yeah.
I still highly recommend it.
Yeah. If you would have asked me this in the middle of it, I would have told you no. But honestly, after the fact, once you like get out your feelings about it, yes, I definitely would. It is a lot of benefits to it if you have the right team, if you have a knowledgeable team. It's just you're basically building your house the way you want to. Nobody's telling you what you can and cannot get. Is your vision, what you want. I mean, there might be little stipulations as far as what the 203K says you can and can't do, but as far as like the look and feel of your home, you're designing it. And so I definitely would, tell people to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So not too painful. That was the 10 questions. We got your story, and I mean, it definitely it was very interesting. For a loan that on paper is supposed to take 6 months to complete. We obviously definitely went past the 6-month threshold, but you guys got it done. And like you said, Chris, you learned a lot along the way, way more than you anticipated learning. But with that new knowledge, any plans?
Yeah. So one, through divine intervention, maybe connections with you, we can kind of probably me and Whitney can probably kind of get out those ideas about the 203K, whether that be just a form like this or something that is an actual business of like consulting or something about it. We thought about that.
Okay.
Of course, you eventually want to buy other properties and just have portfolios, and what that comes with, just flipping to even just knowing about home maintenance in general altogether. The process kind of teaches you basically how to build a home. Well, at our level of
renovation. Yeah.
That so yeah, that's the plan.
I think we definitely want to give back. Like I was telling you before in our pre-call, is one of my family members was able to kind of give us some advice because they did a 203K, but it wasn't to the extent of what we were doing. And so I know me and Chris are both millennials, and I know a lot of millennials are looking to buy homes. And so definitely wanted to have conversations with them about their options, but also, we're telling them from real world experience, and we kind of, anything that kind of went wrong, we kind of experienced it. So we've made a lot of the mistakes and have gone through some of the things that they might not have to do. So I think we really want to start working with people, talking with them that are interested in doing it, just to be somewhat of a guide or ear or anything, a coach or whatever you want to call it, to just kind of help them through the process. And that's something me and Chris had talked about, like he said, almost like 2 years ago when we were going through it. Like, we would not want anybody to go through kind of some of the parts that we were going through. If we could help anyone that's in it, we definitely would want to. And so that's definitely something we want to look into doing.
And that's a beautiful thing. You guys are paying it forward and basically providing, or will be providing what you wish you would have had. So, that's amazing. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. So that's not it though, because you guys did something else during the pandemic, right?
Right.
During this renovation process, right? Or really building a house from scratch almost, right? What was that other thing that you guys, I guess, ended up doing, or what you doing right now? Talk to the people.
Add some more stress to our plate in the middle of the pandemic. But no, so what was that in July? July, yeah. So this is still, we're almost done building the house, but we're still, kind of figuring out some things. We decided to open up an event space. Unbeknownst to me, I had no idea we were even in the business of looking for an event space. It was pretty much, hey, I found this place and I don't really know what I want to do with it. I don't even want to talk with you. What were you saying?
I mean, I found the space, basically an empty space, studio type space. And I just envisioned myself just basically hanging out there with the fellas, kicking back, an extension of the man cave that is not yet complete. So, I just, decided to, to grab that and just through word of mouth, someone kind of pitched the idea to us to, not even the idea of being an event space, but just, hey, I wanted to utilize your space to host my birthday party. We allowed it. They took pictures, and the rest is history. So
yeah, I mean, we were in the height of it. We were having sometimes 4 parties a day. Remember, COVID is closed, and actually, no, I said July 2021. I'm sorry, we opened in July 20. So we still were building kind of a year afterwards. And so COVID caused a lot of stuff to close. People still wanted to have baby showers and parties and weddings, and we've had it all. We've had like 3 micro weddings, a slew of baby showers. Babies were still being born in the pandemic.
Yeah, they were.
Right. So we had a lot of those, but
baby showers and first birthday.
Yeah, we had it was a great experience though. Even though it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was stressful to still be building our home and then taking on the event space, and it's called Mount Rainier Clubhouse, located in Mount Rainier, Maryland. I don't think Chris and I really thought that it would blow up the way that it did, to where we were having 4 parties a day. We would have pop-up events. Shout out to Shop Black. That was like several pop-up events that they hosted that was super successful. We literally had thousands of people come in and out our doors, just from celebrations to creating entrepreneurship with people. All of this was done in a year's time, where we created that network. And again, I don't think we thought it was going to happen. It did. We're thankful for it. And I think the process of the 203K kind of helped with that as well. Learning kind of how to run a business was the same way of learning how to build a house, creating a plan, knowing kind of what to do. And believe me, we could do a whole nother show on the mistakes we made opening up the business. But I think that's just our personality. A lot of it is we just kind of jump into things, and we kind of go as we learn. And you learn from your mistakes, and you just try not to make them again. But it was super successful. We're still open. So if y'all are in the DC area, DMV area, and you need a place to host an event, come find us at Mount Rainier Clubhouse.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Congratulations to all the success you guys have had in the last, shoot. Okay, well, no, we knocking on 2 years for that. So
yeah,
that's all right. That is all right. I mean, for starting something in the midst of a pandemic, like that's huge. And to experience a level of success while doing it is a great thing as well. I mean, you guys feel the need, like people needed that space, and it's like, well, okay, here you go. That's all right. So any thoughts of like expansion, adding on, or,
Yeah,
definitely. Looking in the process of doing that now. Even looking into, scenarios where we might do some partnering, mergers, just taking it all in stride at the present moment. So.
Okay, cool. So for people who might be thinking, well, man, you know what? I don't know. They probably have like some silver spoons or something like that. What is y'all background? And I mean, we don't have to talk on salaries enough, but like, what is y'all background as far as like occupation, things of that nature? Like, y'all just regular people, or y'all like,
I was definitely a regular person. I mean, I worked since I was 16, but it was no like it was a 16-year-old. I'm not gonna lie, I did have to stay in school. And so that was a good job, but it was never no like silver spoons. We do have a supportive family though. So if they needed to help us, they would, as far as pitching in. They would come in and take the trash and things like that, or clean up, or they would even patronize us. I know his uncle had passed, and his aunt had one of the services at our space, and she didn't have to, and they did, and we was glad to do that. So just for them to even think about using our space, they do that all the time. We're getting ready to host one of my niece's sweet 16s, and so a lot of times family don't want to do business with family, but that's not what we've experienced. We've had a lot of business with our family. I also was a stay-at-home mom, so I definitely wasn't having a whole lot of income coming in. And so with this, it's been able to allow that for me as well until I decided to go back to work. But we definitely come from working class families, had to work to get everything that they get, from my grandmother to my father to my mother, to everyone. It's just, they work. We're like probably the first that have done entrepreneur, I guess. Or no, on my side.
Not on my side.
Yeah, now you're on my side. I think we were kind of like, I might be one of the first ones to do that. So, but they've been definitely supportive.
So to elaborate on what Whitney was saying, so we're both, well, I'm a Southeast born and raised, DC kid, Southeast born and raised, went to school all through DCPS. We met in college, North Carolina A&T.
Oh man, why you tell me that?
Aggie Pride.
Oh man, we didn't talk about that before. Why'd you tell?
He must be an Eagle.
We wouldn't have done the show if we didn't do.
Oh man. All right, it's still all HBCU.
Okay. HBCU love,
So yeah, I'm in IT. So I've been in IT for my whole career, about 12, 13 years. Yeah, IT is a lucrative field, so I do okay. I do quite well, and yeah, it's just afforded us good money for this area, substantial income to purchase a house on the FHA's higher end, if we just keeping the conversation full transparent. But yeah, no silver spoon, no trust fund babies over here or anything like that, So
I think the biggest thing they probably have taught us is about investing in yourself, continuing like your education, whether it is college or just anything like this. Just a lot of people don't even know what 203K is. Again, we did. So it's just always Google. I say Google is your friend. Google it, and then when you find somebody like yourself or whoever that can then give you more information, take the chance to find out what it is, and don't be scared of the unknown. Just because somebody in your family didn't do it doesn't mean that it's not a real thing. You have to try. And I think that's something that we always have done. Because at first I think people probably like, what are they about to do now? Because we always just doing something. But if we didn't do it, then we wouldn't be able to tell somebody else to do it. And this afforded us to be able to live in this house, have some equity, which isn't a bad thing. And so it's just, and that's a whole nother conversation we could have just about the importance of that. And so everything I think we've done has been totally strategic, and we're just waiting to see what the next thing is.
I love it. So look, Chris Whitney, again, I thank you guys for sharing your story. It for some folks listening and watching, they probably like, man, that's a doozy. But if you guys really paid attention, especially toward the end, in spite of everything they went through, they said, you know what, I would recommend this for someone else, like the 203K loan. And pardon me if I'm speaking for you, correct me if I'm wrong, but it opened up some doors, and opened up y'all mind to some other possibilities. Because now it's like, we ready to jump in this real estate game. Like, I mean, I done built a house.
Right.
Show me a problem and I'll show you a solution. So that's what's up. And you guys got some great people along the way as well. You know, you had to get through some of the bad things, but you got some great people. So when you're going for that next house that you want to start from scratch, or anything that you need an architect for, call Mr. Michael Johnson. Because we know Michael Johnson's going to take care of business. So, and if you were to need a consultant, we got Melvin Henson, because we know Melvin Henson is going to take care of business. So, so you got some great contacts. But again, look, I thank you guys for sharing your story. Much continued success. We are local, so we definitely will be talking a lot more. And, you know, of course, anything I can do to help you guys with whatever, especially educating folks about the 203K loan, I'm definitely here for it. 100%.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it. And sorry, this is our little one getting ready to end it just in time.
Just in time, right.
But yeah, we just want to thank you, and just please connect with us whenever you get a chance. We're here to help, whatever you need, and vice versa. We just ready.
Need a venue, let us know.
100%. So look, before you go, plug it, like let people know where they can find you, social media, wherever, website information, all of that good stuff.
Okay, so again, we're a Mount Rainier Clubhouse, MOUNTRAINIER Clubhouse. That's our Instagram, just all one word. We're located at 3510 Rhode Island Avenue, Mount Rainier, Maryland. So yeah, you know, we welcome everyone to, you know, host events, pop-ups, workshops, workspace, just whatever you name it. We, you know, we brainstorm together, put our heads together, and try to make a vision happen. And we greatly appreciate you having us and, you know, inviting us onto the platform.
Thank you guys for being here. So look, guys, there you have it. There it is. We got Chris and Whitney and their wonderful story. You know, it was a long one, you know, as far as 3 years, but it was a wonderful story, and I'm glad you guys got to see the full benefits of it, and you're sitting in it right now. And oh, real quick, because one last thing, the children, you said the children got to see.
Oh yeah. That was probably another part of my favorite one. They were able to see their house get constructed from beginning to end. My little one he knows what was happening, so he was able to say like, oh, I want this, oh, I want that. But my oldest really, from being able to see what architectural drawings look like to, I mean, sitting in those meetings, even seeing us be frustrated at times, they saw pretty much everything of how the process was. So it's something that they definitely will take with them for the rest of their life.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah, that was the house before it was
built.
The
house before it was built. That was some of the framing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
So yeah, we have pictures like that all around the house of like how it was. I was taking a lot of pictures, just trying to kind of show the journey.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's all right. So again, thank you guys. That's all we got for this edition of 203K Tuesday, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you. Thank you.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell. Thanks for watching.